and that Grammys pretty much suck the blood of artists and nominate them, have them come to the shows, and then
which they do. They do it every year, yeah. And I'm just tired of seeing it. And for whatever reason, it's like they're always pitching this hint that you might win Album of the Year, which used to be a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal now.
On September 7th of 2000, something happened that we don't see anymore. In fact, a moment like this has never happened before this particular instance. In the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards, Jim Carrey, actor, is up on the stage, doing his usual quirky, humorous monologue, entertaining the audience. It's almost at the end of the short 1-minute series of jokes when he reveals his true purpose in being up on that stage. He says that he is there to introduce Eminem. He receives thunderous applause, a familiar response at such events. Yet what truly stands out is his next remark. "You know, he scares me." The audience erupts in laughter. Carrey continues with a playful tone. "He scares me a little. I gotta be honest. I enjoy his music, but he scares me. His lyrics are totally, socially unacceptable. But you know what? I think if we just spend time with our kids, we'll be okay." The laughter continues, underscoring the moment's significance. Reflecting on the year 2000, Carrey's joke wasn't unique, but the audience's reaction was more than just a response to labeling a rapper as scary. The laughter stemmed from the stark truth embedded in Carrey's words. In 2000, describing Eminem as scary was not unexpected. What's intriguing is Eminem's unique career trajectory. Unlike other rappers who cultivate a tough gangster image, he thrives on humor and playful commentary. From the outset, Eminem has been a perplexing figure. While seemingly trivial, understanding Eminem's persona becomes increasingly complex as we journey through his life. The life of Eminem. If you're a teenager today in 2017, Eminem might appear as just another white rapper among the likes of Drake, Kanye West, and Lil Wayne. However, for those who delve deeper into his music, they recognize his exceptional skill as a lyricist. Eminem's impact transcends mere popularity metrics. He has achieved remarkable milestones. He surpassed Michael Jackson in the top-selling artist of the 2000s, placed 4 songs as a lead artist in Billboard's Top 20, a feat not seen since 1964, won an Oscar as the first hip-hop artist, secured 3 consecutive Best Rap Album Grammys, and was the inaugural hip-hop artist to win MTV Europe Music's Global Icon Award. His albums rank among the highest selling in hip-hop history, with his fastest selling album setting records. Yet Eminem's true essence as an artist extends beyond accolades. To understand him fully, one must trace his journey from the beginning of his rise to stardom. In 1998, Eminem signed with Aftermath Records, a label founded and led by the hip-hop icon, Dr. Dre. To grasp the significance of this partnership, one must understand Dr. Dre's profound influence on hip-hop. Dr. Dre began his career as a producer and emerged as a pivotal figure by releasing what many consider the most influential rap album of all time, The Chronic. His impact stretches beyond his solo work. As a member of NWA, he helped shape the rebellious West Coast hip-hop scene and played a pivotal role in launching Snoop Dogg's career, among others. Dr. Dre's knack for nurturing talent is evident, as seen with his guidance of artists like Kendrick Lamar in the 2010s. In 2011, Eminem acknowledged Dr. Dre's pivotal role in his life through the song I Need a Doctor, highlighting how Dr. Dre played a significant part in saving him. When rumors circulated about Dr. Dre signing a white rapper, it sparked considerable controversy. Many questioned whether a white rapper could match the skill of their black counterparts in the genre. However, any doubts about Eminem's ability was swiftly dispelled when he burst onto the scene on January 25th, 1999, with his debut single, My Name Is.
I was like, man, listen, I put this sample together. Tell me if you like it.
You wanna hear one of my joints, man?
Yeah. And I hit the drum machine, and maybe 2 or 3 seconds went by, and he just went, hi, my name is, like, yo, stop. It's hot. That's what happened our first day in the first few minutes of us being in the studio.
Dr. Dre had already prepared the instrumentals, and when Eminem first walked in the studio, Eminem immediately started repeating the 3 words, my name is. This took the world by storm. In the words of John Pareles of the New York Times, Eminem set out to shock people. This is the single that launched him into the multi-million-dollar success that he is. This song was so huge that it earned him a Rolling Stone cover even before he released his first album. But it also caused great outrage from the masses. Aside from all the disgusting and raunchy lyrics, asking kids if they like violence, choosing which Spice Girl to impregnate, ripping Pamela Lee's tits off, stapling his English teacher's nuts to a stack of paper, flashing in a strip club, insulting his parents. It also started an outrage from those who blamed him as a bad influence to kids, feminists who thought the misogyny was unacceptable, Lynn Chaney who wanted to legally take him down, and his own mother who sued him for "My mom does more dope than I do," and "How you gonna breastfeed me, mom? You ain't got no tits." But despite all of this, My Name Is remembered as one of the most classic rap songs in the history of hip-hop. The song was ranked at number 26 on VH1's 100 Greatest Songs of the 90s, ranked number 6 on Q Magazine's 1001 Best Songs Ever, and placed at number 39 by Rolling Stone on their list of 100 Greatest Hip-Hop Songs of All Time. On top of all this, it earned a Grammy for Best Rap Solo Performance, and the album earned a Grammy for Best Rap Album. This wasn't just a good rapper, this was a new, unique voice in hip-hop, and the beginning of pop culture domination. In February 23rd of 1999, his debut album, the Slim Shady LP, officially came out, and it became a raving sensation. Both passionately hated and loved, sold 283,000 copies the first week and 18 million copies overall. The Rolling Stone reviews, Eminem earns his buzz as a bona fide rap star, one tasteless insult at a time, battling the world with a mouthful of adjectives and a box full of laxatives. The comparison between Eminem in 1999 and Deadpool is apt. Both are characterized by their penchant for outrageously controversial topics and their irreverent attitudes towards societal norms. Eminem, through his persona Slim Shady, often delves into themes and narratives where consequences seem inconsequential or are even mocked. The Slim Shady LP marked the beginning of a trend in Eminem's music that would persist throughout his career. It set the stage for his exploration of provocative content, pushing boundaries and challenging listeners with dark humor and blunt commentary on various social issues. This album laid the foundation for Eminem's distinctive style, which would continue to evolve and provoke reactions from fans and critics alike in his subsequent releases. Eminem's early career showcased a stark dichotomy between his personas, notably Slim Shady and himself. Through Slim Shady, he expressed intense animosity towards his mother and famously vented his hatred in songs like Cleaning Out My Closet. His turbulent relationship with his wife Kim was brutally depicted in tracks like Come and Bonnie and Clyde, where he graphically portrays violence, including cutting her throat and disposing of her body in the ocean. In stark contrast, Eminem's love for his daughter, Haley, was a frequent theme, celebrated in songs such as Haley's Song, where he reveals a tender side rarely seen in his more provocative persona. Alongside these personal themes, Eminem crafted controversial characters like Ken Kaniff, a caricature of a homo man obsessed with him, whom he used to challenge societal norms and provoke reactions. His sharp wit extended to mocking celebrities and public figures, a trademark that added a layer of satire and commentary to his music. This complex interplay between personas, personal struggles, and social commentary defined Eminem's early work and set the stage for his ongoing impact on hip-hop and popular culture. And this is exactly what we see in his next album that comes out in May 23rd of 2000. The Marshall Mathers LP sold 1.76 million copies in its first week, which made it the fastest-selling rap album in history, and also was fastest-selling solo artist album. It sold twice as much as the previous record holder, Snoop Dogg's 1993 album Doggy Style, and also topped Britney Spears' record for highest one-week sales by any solo artist, and sold 32 million copies overall, except the content is extrapolated to its absolute optimum. In the Slim Shady LP, Eminem briefly reveals his serious side through Rock Bottom, discussing his struggles with poverty and concerns about the future. While transitioning from Slim Shady to Marshall Mathers, there's not a shift in attitude, but rather a notable change in his approach to self-expression.
I had job after job after job and just kept getting fired, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't have a high school education, I didn't have a diploma, I failed 9th grade 3 times, as the world knows now, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I was basically going nowhere, and I felt like when I made the Slim Shady EP, I told the production people that I was working with, FBT, I told them, I was like, yo, if this doesn't work, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to be 23 years old. I gotta get out. I gotta do something. You know what I'm saying? I gotta leave. I gotta quit.
According to Rolling Stone's review, Eminem is likened to the Axl Rose of hip-hop, a charismatic yet controversial figure, filled with rage and fueled by. The Marshall Mathers LP is described as a chaotic, wild, and unsettling car crash record that captivates listeners with its loud and grotesque intensity, making it impossible to ignore. His persona of Slim Shady is elevated in the song The Real Slim Shady, in which his hatred for mainstream artists from NSYNC and Britney Spears to Backstreet Boys become more sincere. His hatred toward his wife is expressed in a 6-minute song, Kim, in which Eminem cares less about lyricism and more about yelling at and his wife. Anger is mistaken for nothing else. Some words are even censored in the explicit version of this album in this song, and doesn't even exist in the censored version of the album. There's a skit in the second album in which Ken Kniff is receiving oral. To give an idea of how polarized the mass were, the popularity was equated by the backlash this album had received, from marches by special interest groups that chanted 2, 4, 6, 8, Eminem is full of hate, to excerpts of "You" being read aloud in Congress, including by Lynn Cheney, to censor this kind of music. And for Eminem, this kind of reaction is a success in his eyes. He said, "I'm trying to push your buttons." All the hatred was only fueling him. With his nasally high-pitched voice, the Marshall Mathers LP becomes not only one of the most influential rap albums, but also solidifies himself as the angry blonde at the age of 28. The persona of Slim Shady has stopped being an excuse to attack famous people. It had become Eminem's most prized weapon to take down anyone criticizing him, paving way for future white rappers and future controversial rappers. Eminem's style of rapping is aggressive, filled with yelling and riffs that sound like he'd rather not be there. I think it's a fair description to describe M's flow as annoyed. He seems frustrated, even openly angry, to be rapping. His boasts, what few there are, primarily focus on his actual proficiency at rapping. His frantic reprise of how he doesn't give a effing, versed defiantly in a million different ways across all of his songs, seems to hint at a greater, deeper vulnerability. He's the angry kid inside you, grown into a juggernaut of rap. He's essentially a puerile version of the Hulk, a brooding ID that hates everyone. He's a man who can't find peace with himself, and therefore can't find peace with the world. He's at war with the universe.
I was reaching a boiling point, man. I was getting into a lot of drugs and doing a lot of stuff because I was so depressed, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's why I say, when I say Dre saved my life, I mean literally saved my life.
Eminem is angry. He's addicted. He's impulsive and occasionally out of control. He loves his daughter, despises his ex-wife, and rages against the world at large. It's also the beginning of Eminem continually defending his offensive lyrics by saying they aren't supposed to be taken literally and that it's art. For the record, Eminem is not homophobic or misogynistic, according to him. Wait, no. We need to mention something really important. Remember when we mentioned that Eminem has no boundaries? His character is one that, though vulnerable, is one that's generally untouchable. The most humane side of him is his candidacy, but this begins to change after his second album. But even in the Marshall Mathers LP, we find a small, easy to miss, subtle glimpse of how Eminem won't cross some lines. In literally that last 2 minutes of the entire album, in the song Criminal, after he spitted the lyrics. My words are like a dagger with a jagged edge that'll stab you in the head, whether you're a fag or les, or a hermaph or a transvest, pants or dress, hate fags. The answer's yes, he raps. Then you'd want to effing me up for saying the word. In that empty space, the listeners are supposed to assume that the word would be the N-word, but Eminem doesn't say it. And it's not that he's being censored like he was when he rapped about Columbine previously. The N-word is just not a word that Eminem uses out of respect for his black friends and the hip-hop culture. Now, I'm not saying he should have used it, but I am saying, all of a sudden, Eminem goes from being someone who has no lines to cross to someone who respects his friends, respects his mentors, and respects culture. This is only the beginning. On November 8th of 2002, the film featuring Eminem, 8 Mile, hits theaters with critical success, something very few musicians achieve when they try to act. Just 17 days before the movie comes out, a new single comes out from Eminem called Lose Yourself. This song was not only vital in the movie's success, but also what represents the height of Eminem's entire career. No other song that Eminem makes reaches this amount of acclaim. Instrumentals are immediately recognizable. Eminem's verses become iconic, including the words, "Mom's Spaghetti," and it becomes an anthem for anyone in a competitive spirit, to the likes of Rocky. It's a 5-minute song that captures the spirit of being a battle rapper, or rapping for the sport of it. He even became the first hip-hop artist to win an Oscar thanks to this. And with this single, we want to take it back to where Eminem really started, as a battle rapper. He grew up in the 8 Mile side of Detroit. He was poor, grew up with a single mother, who he would later describe as detrimental to him. He would to rap battle competitions like his life depended on it. He would constantly be evicted, and his house would be broken into often. He would move from house to house constantly. Him being white was not a subtle thing for him to overcome. In November 12th of 1996, Eminem tried to sell the first real record he made with the Bass Brothers called Infinite. This didn't end up selling well, selling 1,000 copies. In fact, he was forced to give it out. Of course, you know the end of this story. He was signed on by Dr. Dre, who initially thought he was black, but he didn't go the route that Tupac or Biggie, or what most rappers do. Whether it's Biggie's Juicy or Drake's, started from the bottom, now we're here. Rappers start out by saying that they started from an unfortunate place. They make their underdog story their highlight. But Eminem being the ultimate underdog wasn't a priority for Eminem. In fact, when My Name Is launched, Eminem's style had changed, so his priority would be to catch people's ears, and that's exactly what he did. He rapped like he has been a prominent rapper for a while. He stopped caring about his destitute background. In his song, Guts Over Fear, he raps, "As soon as I stopped saying I gave a effing, haters started to appreciate my art." In his own words, as soon as I stopped giving a effing about what I was saying, people were starting to give a effing. He was also a white rapper in a predominantly music genre that was for and towards black people. If white rappers were ever to be under a spotlight, they obsessively defined themselves through self-conscious apologia, fanatically insisting on their own harmlessness. From MC Chris, who speaks in a modified timbre about such unoffensive subjects as video games and science fiction, to Lonely Island, who are a straight comedy act, to even the fresh on the scene, technically gifted Lil Dicky, whose biggest hit to date plays like a sorry note for even existing. White rappers have been, for the most part, limited to novelty acts. They would rap about normal people things and be relatable, to the degree that a white rapper talking about how he doesn't need hoes, guns, or cash has become a painfully repetitive trope. I'm a normal guy, rapping about normal people things. Eminem wasn't this, but he wasn't the stereotypical black rapper either. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, as the era of crime-focused rap was fading and party rap, emphasizing wealth and glamour, was rising, Eminem emerged with a distinctively provocative style. Unlike many rappers of the time who boasted about their conquests, criminal exploits, wealth, and adoration by women, Eminem took an opposite approach. He delved into his own struggles and came from a place of destitution without seeking pity from listeners. Instead, he crafted his persona in a way that made audiences simultaneously loathe and love him. His lyrics were raw, vulgar, and filled with furious rants that often felt like the unfiltered thoughts of a rebellious 7th grader. Eminem's thematic focus on violence and dark humor starkly contrasted with the emerging trends in rap music. Even when featured on other artists' tracks, he would diverge from the main subject to go on unpredictable and mentally unstable tangents. If others flaunted their wealth, Eminem portrayed himself as impoverished. If they boasted about their prowess, he joked about emasculating himself. His narratives were often chaotic, describing burning down his own house without remorse or reason. This defiant and unpredictable persona was encapsulated in tracks like Hi, My Name Is, where he introduced himself in a manner that defied convention and expectation. In Missy Elliott's song, Boozer Rhyme, featuring Eminem, for example, Eminem raps about popping pills, being suicidal, chopping the hospital staff in half, while Elliott's single verse is just about how she's the one in charge. So to go back to 8 Mile, a semi-autobiographical portrayal of Eminem in 1995, only at this point does he fully explore his roots and his disadvantages. He is the ultimate underdog. Previously, Eminem's persona was crafted in a way that seemed untouchable and unconcerned with consequences, adding to his image as a frightening figure. However, as his life progressed, events unfolded that had significant repercussions, marking a departure from his previously carefree image.
Hey yo, what's up? My name is Slim Shady.
And this is Doc Dre.
And you're licking my balls right now.
You're watching The Lick right here.
Right here.
On MTV.
On MTV. Rap?
Eminem is constantly laughing, joking, and playing around. He's like this in most of his interviews before 2002. He's more busy with entertaining the audience than actually feeding information about his upcoming albums. But this significantly changes, and it's not subtle. In this MTV interview from 2002 with Eminem, Eminem refrains from making any jokes. He directly answers questions, his pace is much slower, and his voice has gotten deeper.
I don't know the exact statistics of who's buying my records. I can tell you the majority of who comes to my shows, but I'm not stupid. And I know that me being white had a lot to do with my success.
You can tell he's careful and thoughtful about the answers he gives. Furthermore, in the 7-minute mark of this interview, Eminem, after consulting his advisors, refuses to answer a question about how his mother raised him concerning allegations of mental illnesses due to a possible lawsuit. All of a sudden, Eminem is not Deadpool. He's the result of what would happen if Deadpool faced consequences. And this is most clearly seen in his third solo album, The Eminem Show, released in May 21 of 2002. Fastest selling album of all time, recently topped by Taylor Swift's 1989, and sold 27 million copies overall. The Rolling Stone reviews, Mr. Just Don't Give a Effing still won't leave. He can't leave rap alone. The game needs him. Now, there's a lot of silly songs on this album. Without Me, Superman, and Business are just two of them poking fun at politicians who are attacking him, insulting celebrities, jokingly insulting his mother, slut-shaming women, and bragging about his lyrical prowess in a very tongue-in-cheek way. And it's gotten to the point where these silly songs start to seem like Eminem is just checking off a checklist. In his own words, Without Me is no indication whatsoever how the record is gonna sound. In a 2002 Rolling Stone interview with Eminem, he reveals that silly singles like Without Me and My Name Is are just there to get people listening to the realer songs, and he's not lying. In June of 2000, while he and Kim were still married, Eminem witnessed her kissing another man outside a suburban Detroit bar. After a very short internal debate, Eminem pistol-whipped the guy and earned himself the first of 2 felony charges that year. The second came after an altercation involving the ersatz rap group, the Insane Clown Posse. The 2 charges spelled possible jail time for 28-year-old Marshall Mathers, a gangster reality he was scared as hell to add to his portfolio. Eminem, in response to all that's happened to him, said, "My criminal case scared me the most. It's no joke. When you're standing up there, it humbles you very quickly. I walked into that courtroom, like all I could think about was, what am I gonna say to Haley? Cause Haley, still to this day, knows nothing about it. She does not know that I possibly could have been taken away from her." On top of this, he also got a divorce with his then wife Kim, the topic of many of his songs in 2001. This, along with the threat of prison and his current probation, woke him up and grew him up right quick. He stopped drinking and downing purple pills, and as always, took his angst to the studio. However, still he has been through a lot to reach this point. If you enjoyed this video, click on the ones showing on your screen now to watch similar content.